of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. District mission statement. A mission of the Exeter West Greenwich School District is to empower students to dream, reach, and succeed. My glasses. All right. Open forum. Comments may be directed to the chairperson of the school committee and may be limited or terminated. May terminate a discussion. No comment should address personnel, litigation, or negotiations as restricted by open meetings regulation. The school committee cannot take action or vote on topics introduced that are not reflected on the agenda. Is there any members of the public that wish to address the school committee at this time? No. All right. Jim, could you read the consent agenda?
Yes. So under consent, we have the approval of the regular meeting minutes from September 14th. We have one appointment for a teacher assistant position that was vacated as a result of a summer resignation. She's in the audience, so I'll introduce her after this is completed. We also have two resignations under number 3B. If we could change the effective resignation date to September 27th, we've got a follow-up email after the agenda was put together. So 3B effective September 27th is the date of resignation. We also have our monthly bills and 3 additional homeschool approvals.
Would any of the members like an item on the consent agenda poll? Hearing none. Can you make a motion for me?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that. All the vote, those in favor of the consent agenda signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Ms. McFadden, Maria is in the audience. Maria Abarola is our new teacher assistant at Metcalf, and Maria has subbed for us. I think she started subbing last year, did a great job, and now we're bringing her on as a regular employee of the district. So welcome, Maria.
Thank you.
Well
Welcome.
done.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Next subject, correspondences. Would anybody like to talk about correspondence? None. All right, next item, the 21-22 budget. Bob?
There's a packet enclosed. Again, we're still early in the year. Revenues are matching expenses as budgeted.
Any questions for Bob or Jim? None. Monthly subcommittee reports. Do we have any items under that, Jim?
Now, there is a policy that is on the agenda that we'll talk about under new business. Other than that, I don't have anything unless Bob has something for capital project.
We'll just have tomorrow night, there's a capital project building committee meeting.
We good? All right, under new business policies, policy 6315.
Okay, so this is a revision to an existing policy. This came to you from the athletic director, and basically what he's looking for is to separate the volunteer coaches into 2 categories, which is consistent with what we do with other volunteers in the district. That category A volunteer coaches would have one-to-one access with students, and therefore would be required to meet all of the requirements of a full certified paid coach. But then there are volunteer coaches that work under the direct supervision of existing coaches, and they could be doing things such as being a volunteer scorekeeper. But under the current policy, all of those volunteers are required to do everything, and it's a lot for somebody that is not really acting in the position of a coach with one-to-one access to the kids. So our other policy, our other volunteer policy does separate people out into category A and B. We wanted to apply the same to the coaching positions in the district. So I thought it was a reasonable request. All of the adjustments are in red. If there are any questions, category A, volunteer coaches would have no change to existing requirements. Category B would still have to do the background check, but they would be subject to fewer requirements consistent with other volunteers in the district.
Questions or comments from the membership?
I'll make a motion to approve policy 6315, qualifications and appointments of coaches and assistant coaches as amended.
Seconded. All those in favor, designate by saying aye. Aye. Nays, abstentions, motion passes.
Thank you.
Unfinished business, Exeter Group Home Aid reimbursement. Jen, you have an update?
So we basically did what the school committee asked. The request was sent to the Department of Ed. I did do the addendum to the request based on the conversation that occurred at the last meeting. Raven and I consulted before that was sent, and we are just at this point awaiting a response.
Any questions? Member Pandy?
Did we vote to send the letter? I thought we voted to supplement it. I thought.
We'll have to check
Secretary
minutes.
said he was
You're
gonna bring it
questioning
back
the
to the
minutes?
committee
Well,
voting.
either way, we can't make a motion on that. It's just a discussion. Let's see. Someone was added in continuation of the motion passed. So are you asking at this time? It's been forwarded to the Rhode Island Department of Ed's legal department. Are you splicing it down that you need a motion to move this forward?
No, I guess I'm just bringing up that I thought, I know last time you said it's in the minutes. The committee, Chair McFadden proposed to bring this matter back, at which time the committee could make a determination that it's going forward to RIDE. I just thought it was going back to the committee so we could look over the whole letter. I didn't know it was getting sent out.
Unless
It is.
I hear otherwise, which I haven't, because I can't understand most of you if you're masked, which is my problem. I'll assume you don't require any additional action on this. My understanding at this time is if the request has been forwarded. Is that your position?
Sorry, I have my mic on. Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
Okay. No, when it came before us last time, it was, we voted on the supplement.
Sure.
And then you had said that we'll bring it back to committee to take a look at the letter and then vote on sending it to RIDE. So
Yeah,
I
it's
just
not
didn't- I
reflected
wasn't-
that. in
I
the
don't
notes.
think the committee was aware that
understand,
it was being sent to RIDE.
They did submit it. So, I mean, this has been out there for several months, so we'll just see what they have to say. Yes.
Would it be possible to get a copy of the letter that was sent and the supplement that was sent? Thank you.
Can that be sent via email to all of us that are waiting for the next meeting?
I'm sorry, what did you want?
Jim, can you send that to us via email instead of waiting for the next meeting?
For the next meeting. Just send it.
Want to send by email before the next meeting.
Oh, yeah, sure. Why not?
I don't want to wait till the next meeting, like.
Oh, no. We'll just send it as an email and we won't include it as part of the agenda. Is that okay? All right, so everybody knows my hearing issues and they're only multiplied by the mask, so I apologize. Next item under unfinished business is Charter Review Committee update. Bob.
The committee met last night, the Charter Review Committee. Superintendent has prepared the smoothing for 3, 5, and 7-year smoothing averages. Committee kind of consents that the 5-year was the the best number. 3 years didn't quite give enough historical value for the smoothing. 5-year was fine. 7-year was maybe be too long for implementation. No decisions were made, but there were other discussions about types of, looking at state aid and the apportionment of state aid, and again, no decisions were made. The next charter review committee meeting is in November. There have been some submissions or a submission regarding changing some of the language, not relative to the apportionment, but just the sequence of events and updating the charter to reflect where the district is now as opposed to when it was building the high school. I think is really when that a lot of the building committee, school committee relationship was included in the charter. So we're just cleaning that part up. No votes, no action as of yet.
Questions or comments from the membership? All right, hearing none. Moving on to capital project update.
Want to see Mr. McFadden, return to school guidance?
Say that again.
Return to school guidance.
Oh, yeah, see.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Skip. Yep.
I do have a
2021 school
couple of
guidance. Go
things
right ahead.
I have a couple of things. So the last time I gave an update to the school committee on the number of positive cases since the start of school, I'm going to give you the updated numbers. So these are just positive cases since the last school committee meeting. So it's a 2-week window, which is actually roughly the same amount of time from the beginning of school to the last meeting, right? So we have had a total of 15 new cases in the last 2 weeks. Of those 15 cases, 8 of the children were home quarantining because they were close contacts to a positive family member, and it resulted in no quarantines at all. So we've only had 7 cases that are not explained by a positive family member. There have been no new cases at Lynham, 2 new cases at Wallaloon, 9 at Metcalf, but of those 9, 5 of them were siblings of a positive case at home, or the child of a positive case at home. 2 at the junior high school, both of which were siblings of positive cases in the household, and 2 at the senior high school. So that's a total of 15, with 8 of those new cases connected to a positive family household member, and those children were already in quarantine. Okay, so that's one update. The other update I have is, I think I reported at the last meeting that the number of children being quarantined because of bus contacts is what is really hurting us. So myself and several other superintendents have been talking. We raised the issue at the last Department of Health meeting. We have those weekly now. And the Department of Health released to us their definition of a close contact on a bus, which is a person within 6 feet of a case for greater than 15 minutes within 24 hours. That is a stricter rule than what exists in classrooms, but that's the rule that they're currently following, although we've asked them to review that rule because it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense that we can do 3 feet in a classroom, but it has to be 6 feet on the bus. Regardless, that's the definition that they sent us. I also noticed that they're telling us when a child tests positive and that child is sitting on the bus, we were quarantining all of the children that sit 2 seats behind, 2 seats in front, and the 5 corresponding rows across the aisle. So if you think about that, that's 9 times 3, 27. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 3, 27. There could be a possibility of 29 children quarantined for 1 positive case based on that rule, if the bus is loaded with 3 kids per seat. Now, not all of our buses are at capacity, but the potential is that 1 positive case could result in basically 30 kids quarantined. So I went to the bus company on
Monday.
Was it yesterday? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
It was yes. I went to the bus company yesterday with the manager of the bus yard. We got on the bus with a measuring tape. And I have created a chart that has been submitted to all of the principals that we are actually, if we strategically seat the children, we could reduce the number of kids who have to quarantine by, in some cases, up to 9 kids for a positive case. So because they're more than 6 feet apart. So the guidance says it's 6 feet, but their ruling has been quarantine everybody in the 2 rows behind, 2 rows in front. But with a measuring tape, we determined that there are kids in those rows that are more than 6 feet apart and masked. So this change went into place yesterday, and we will no longer be quarantining kids that are more than 6 feet away, even if they are within those rows on the bus. And I feel really comfortable with that because A, it meets the definition that RIDO has provided, and B, when I look at the positive cases, we've had a few positive cases, kids that tested positive after they were identified as a close contact. Now, I don't know that it's because they were a close contact in school, because they could have been exposed elsewhere as well. But we have no cases, 0 cases in the district where the kids were sitting that far away from the positive case. The children were quarantined and then ended up positive, 0. So as a result of that review, which I've done with all of the principals, we feel comfortable that we're going to start implementing this. It will significantly reduce the kids that are required to quarantine going forward. But we are still pursuing some additional changes with the Department of Health because the rule on the bus is double what the rule in a classroom is. It doesn't make a lot of sense to us. So we're trying to talk that through with the Department of Health to get some consensus that there could be some relief in that respect. But at least for now, we've provided some. So I just wanted to report out on that as well. That's it.
Members, questions or comments for Jim? No, great. Okay, now we're on to capital projects. Is that you, Bob?
So, like I said previously, the building committee will be meeting tomorrow night. We made a payment today, the 3rd requisition payment to the general contractor ATC. So that brings the total paid to them just about $2 million. And we're up to speed on paying the OPM, which is down, the owner project manager. It couldn't be more pleased with the way that this project is going, from the activity that's taking place in the school, the work being done there, to the finance end of it. It's really, Ryback and RIDE have done a great job of making that a much more efficient way of doing business. We can, like I said, we cut a check for 1.4 million. We expect that to be, this process within 24 hours. So it's pretty amazing. As far as the project goes, there are, for this weekend, there are lifts scheduled to put some rooftop units on. This would be the second to last major lift to put rooftop units on. For the committee members who are in the audience or around the tables here, the RTUs, rooftop units that are the training units, which are the bigger, more comprehensive units. We understand that they are somewhere between the manufacturer and where they're going to be received. We don't know exactly where they are, but that's good news. It means they're on their way, which puts them on target with the middle of October for arrival and placement activity. So everything is going swimmingly, as we like to say, on that project. And the reality of it is, you know, by the end of November, we could be done with all the work, and then it's just the commissioning agent doing the final debugging, breaking in and programming of the system. Just so you know, it's kind of one of the elements that this project will bring to us is Steve Bailey and his team will now be able to access the controls for the whole junior, senior high school complex via apps and remotely. So they be able to get feedback about what the systems are doing and et cetera, et cetera. So it's a leap forward for the district, and I think you guys should really be proud that the temporary that's in. Okay.
So this means no more cold winter nights in the library when the school committee meets. Is that right, Bob?
I never said that.
I thought you had advanced heating into the 21st century, Bob, and we were no longer to have to look at our breath when we spoke at these meetings, but all right.
My fear has been the transportation. Transportation throughout this country is terrible.
Yeah.
Everyone's on back order. They can't get stuff here. See it's left.
Right, yeah, that was a good update today, so.
Are there any comments from the membership? Questions? All right. That ends that. Important dates, Tuesday, October 12th, school committee meeting, Tuesday, October 26th, another school committee meeting. At this time, I'll make a motion to move to executive session at 16, I'm sorry, what is it? 18:22? Yeah, okay, whatever. 6:22, 18:22, yeah, depending on how you look at it. For the purposes in accordance with 4246-5A, paragraph A2, Council 94 Teacher Association negotiations, discussion, action, or pending personal. For Council 94, I need a second on that.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay. Abstentions. Motion passes.
Session on the seal. So we're allowed. All right, so now we need a motion to seal the minutes to the executive session.
I'll make a motion to seal the minutes of the executive session.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Nays, abstentions, motion carries. We're now going to disclose the vote.
There was one vote taken. During the executive session. You put in,
As the secretary, the superintendent, as the secretary of the executive session, the superintendent should report the vote. Motion was the vote. So the motion was to enter into a 2-year contract starting September 1st, 2022, ending August 31st, 2024, with Council 94, with a 1% raise in 2022-23, 1.25% raise in 2023-2024. The vote was 4-2 in favor of that motion.
That's all we need, except at this point, we need to close out public vote. You read into the record. So we satisfied the, right. We need a motion to adjourn.
I just want to mention one thing, because it's bothering me. If we just in the future, if we just make sure, before we move forward on any action items, that we make sure that we had a vote from the school committee. And I'm going to address the 3 people sitting here also, because we didn't have a vote, and the voting is important. It's important how we vote. And an action was taken, and there wasn't a vote for that action to be taken. And votes are important. I know we have all own opinions and whatnot, but voting does mean, it means something. So I just want to make sure in the future we make sure we're acting with our school committee votes.
I'm sorry, I don't understand you.
On the letter that being sent to Rye, because we voted on the supplement, but you said you were going to take the letter back.
Wait a minute, Claudine, I think you're talking about what we just discussed.
No,
I would rather that you didn't discuss some other topic.
It's not a
that's
topic,
closed.
it's a point of order, actually. It's a point of order.
Back when the subject was active, Claudine,
No.
I've had this problem with you before. I'm a little bit of a stickler. I'm not like you, Claudine. I try to stick to the agenda.
I'd like to
That's
talk
not
about whatever you want, whenever you want.
You want to make a point of order when the subject's active? I'm okay with that.
I can, this is a general comment about actions of school committee, and I can actually bring it up at the end of the meeting. It's addressing the school committee, our administrators, our legal counsel. I can bring it up at the end of the meeting.
What? You brought up something very specific that already closed out on the
No, it's
agenda. I'm not going to take
it's
a point
not.
of order. I can just
It's a general,
I can
it's a
just
general overall
interrupt
topic.
you
It's
as
not-
chair, Ms.
It's a
Candy.
general overall topic.
Oh, dear.
That voting is important. You
Voting is
denied,
important to you.
you denied members of the school committee to vote on a topic that was important, but I don't want to.
I didn't deny anybody a vote. When did I deny somebody a vote? Don't accuse me
Did
of
you
something
give-
I didn't do, Ms.
Did you
Candy.
give direction to send the letter to?
I
Rob?
did not deny anybody to take a vote. There was no motion put on the floor. There was none
There was
carried.
supposed
Don't
to be.
accuse me, madam, of doing something against, it's saying that the school committee,
There
I
was-
prevented a school committee from taking a vote. I never did
There
that.
was supposed to be a vote.
Oh, my
So I just want
gosh.
to make sure in the
Woman,
future,
please.
I want to make sure in the future, we don't do that because
Oh,
voting is
dear.
important.
You know,
It was a
Claudine,
general overall comment, not specific to a topic. That
All
doesn't
right.
impact members.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Those in favor of, signify by saying yea.